What's going on, guys? Aaron here with NAP Transport, part-time YouTuber, full-time trucker, overtime buffoon. So, I wanted to make a quick response video to Eric's video earlier this morning regarding Dear Prime haters, which I will leave a link to in the description below. Please make sure you check out that video. Great video. But I kind of wanted to go a little more in depth since I have experience at other companies. So in there, Eric states that he has seen some hate toward Prime, that I'm just going to address the biggest one for me off the bat, that they're just a starter company. I've been driving almost 5 years, 4.5 years, something like that. And I just came to Prime. They're not just a starter company. I came in as an experienced driver, and honestly, I know my wife has talked about it with me, and honestly, we're both kicking me in the tail for not coming sooner. With that being said, people are always saying, oh, well, you can make money other places and stuff like that, which is true. And shout out to Ross from Johnson's Logic, who's now over at Landstar doing his thing and making his money. But the question really remains, are you like Ross? Ross is very self-motivated. He's very business-oriented, very, I mean, as his channel says, logical thinker. He has that mindset to be able to make that work. So the question really becomes, can you make more money elsewhere? For me, that answer was no. I've done 2 big company leases. Well, one wasn't a lease, it was, I purchased a truck and leased it onto the company. And one where I was purchasing a truck from someone running independent load boards. Basically, their DOT number was just so that I wasn't some new entity. It was so that I had the stability of an already established company. So let's start with my first lease. My first lease was with Swift. I know, say what you want, but my first lease was with Swift. I literally did that to buy myself a paycheck. But they pay by the mile. I don't know what their current rate is. But when I left there in 2018, I was making $1.12 a mile. Now, yes, that was loaded and empty, but I was making $1.12 a mile. And at the time, I don't know if this has changed, but they weren't really doing the full fuel surcharge. You were maybe getting 8 cents a mile for a fuel surcharge. Come to find out, when other companies such as Prime were doing 20 to 30 cents at the time, Swift was paying 8 cents. So I don't know, I can't speak for how they are right now, because I've been gone from there for so long, I haven't kept up. But that led to, even on a dedicated account, I was only grossing about $3,300 a week. And that was busting my tail, you know, running 3,000-ish miles a week. So you factor in a truck payment, which is about, the fixed costs were about the same as they are here. $12.50-ish a week, plus fuel. So think about it. Those 3,000 miles at when I left 38 cents a mile, I would have been getting paid more mileage than I did after my expenses. So I bought myself a paycheck because their trucks at the time, again, can't speak to them now, but at the time, their trucks were garbage. I went through 4 trucks in the first 3 months because they just kept breaking down. They kept ending up in the shop. So I went through so many trucks that the only way that I could make a consistent paycheck was lease, because, you know, at that point, they took better care of those trucks. My second lease, which, like I said, I went out and I put $15,000 down, and I purchased a truck from an outside company. I'm not going to give the name of that company because I don't have anything good to say about them, and I don't really like to speak ill. But I went to Schneider. At Schneider, we were getting 65% of the load, I believe. I might be wrong, but I think it was 65%. And the thing was, even though I was making money there, it's because my payments weren't coming out of my settlements. But at the same time, I didn't have any kind of safety net when it came to repairs because my truck was not leased from Schneider. So I didn't have the safety net that Prime has, where under $500 you pay 100%, over $500 repair it's split 50-50 between you and Prime. So when my truck broke, which was massive, it was a massive, it was supposed to be a $1,500 fix, turned into a lot more than that. The DPF filter got backed up, and I couldn't get it cleaned, so I needed to get it replaced. So about $1,500, give or take. Turned out soot was backed up to the turbo. Now we're looking at, you know, $5,000 to $8,000. At the time, I had about $4,000 that I could play with. So I wasn't set up for a costly repair. You know, 2 months after getting this truck. And of course, it wasn't covered under the warranty that I bought. For whatever reason, that repair wasn't covered. So I ended up failing on that because I wasn't prepared. So you think about it, and you have all these expenses, but you lean too heavily on not breaking down when you buy a truck elsewhere. My third one, I was purchasing a Kenworth W900. Beautiful truck. It was the Icon, so it was kind of the higher end model. And I had it leased on with these guys who were paying me 83%, 83 or 85%. Great people. I have no problem with them as people. But I had load board. I had my, I had the DAT load board, the, I can't even remember them right now. But I had the load boards. And I was the one that negotiated with the brokers. So that's harder than people think it is. Negotiating with brokers, or I think at Landstar they're called agents. But I wasn't at Landstar. This was with a small company. I think I was like one of 6 trucks. But I didn't understand freight lanes. So without understanding freight lanes and having this brick that I was throwing into the wind getting 5 miles per gallon, 5.5 if it was a good week and I had a tailwind. It was another way I failed. I make more in a week at Prime than I did in 2 weeks there. So the thing is, people say you can make more money, and I've done so many other ways. I've done the mileage, I've done the percentage, I've done the booking your own loads, I've done the outside load boards with brokers. The thing is, you have to ask yourself if that's something that you personally are able to do. And for people like Eric and Jenna, people like myself, the answer is no. I'm not cut out for doing that kind of stuff. I don't, at least not at the moment. That might change in the future. But for people like Ross, for people like the thousands of other drivers over there at Landstar, Schneider, the ones who get to pick their loads, absolutely, they can do it. So it boils down to an individual basis. But just because you can do it or you have done it doesn't mean that the rest of us, are to be looked down on because we drive for a company that has thousands of trucks. Honestly, what I find is that's security. Because if you go, say, on a load board, you pick a circle or whatever that you keep doing, those loads might not be there when you are, or the loads might not be there week to week. So there's consistent freight here. I have this load that I'm getting ready to go pick up, and it's 50-50, but I know where I'm going when I deliver. I know what area I'm going to when I deliver. There's 2 customers, both are roughly 20 miles from my delivery. I know it's going to be one of those 2 customers because they're not going to deadhead me 150 miles the other way when there's 2 pretty big customers that they have right there. So, rather than me having to go, oh, well, where's my next load going to be? I have an idea as I'm learning Prime. And so I just kind of wanted to make this video to first give credence to what Eric was saying this morning over at Driver Lineup. He's done the math for his truck. I've done the math for my truck. We know what is best for us. So for you trying to tell us that we can make more elsewhere, it's kind of pointless. Because even if we know we could make more elsewhere, why does it matter to you where we are? And that's kind of what it boils down to for me. Why does it matter to you where I am, where my truck is, where my services are? Because to me, what matters is that I can take care of my family first and foremost. As long as I can do that, the second thing that matters to me is that I'm happy. And honestly, I'm still in the honeymoon phase here. I've been here 2 months now. Actually, I think almost exactly 2 months. And I have to say that I have the most stress that I've felt was, why am I sitting? And I understand some parts of the country, not great for freight. But I still make my money. That's the thing, is wherever I go, I make my money. So if I make $4,500 on 2,000 miles, my biggest stress is, man, I could do more than that. The loads just didn't line up. Okay. But as long as I make my money, like, there was one week, a couple weeks ago, I went 2,500 miles for $6,000 gross to me. That's not gross to Prime. That's what came to my truck. So, you know, and then of course all my stuff came out of it, but still, like, you can't judge, or you can't say that we'll be successful somewhere else because you are. So, Eric and Jenna, much love to you guys. Thank you for putting out that video. Dear Prime haters, keep hating. You're just feeding me. Have a good day, guys. I gotta get to work. Be safe out there.